The Farmer Development Series is designed to bring together Arizona growers, food system partners, and organizations to share knowledge, tools, and stories that strengthen our local food systems. As I mentioned, Kate O'Neill is with us today as our moderator. She and the panel will be discussing how farms and food hubs use technology to expand their reach and deepen customer relationships in a variety of ways and get to hear their firsthand experiences. So that is enough from me. We are going to stop sharing our screen on the Arizona Food Bank Network end, and I'm going to hand it over to Kate for their presentation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone. Let me share my screen. My name is Kate O'Neill, and I live in Flagstaff and work statewide on behalf of Activate Food Arizona. And we work really hard to ensure that all Arizonans have the ability to make their own food choices while also building a stronger and more connected community food system across the state. For the past few years, I've had the privilege to work with some of today's speakers to make online grocery shopping more accessible to SNAP and Double Up customers here in Arizona. Through this work, I've gotten to learn about all of the amazing digital tools that farms and food hubs are using to reach new customers and make the sale of Arizona grown and made foods not only more accessible and easy and convenient for customers, but also streamlining a lot of operations and businesses for community food retailers. So for today's speaker series, we're just going to showcase some examples of digital tools and how farms and food hubs are using them. For those that would like to dive a little deeper into kind of how to and other guides, I've included a link in the chat. I put together a quick links how-to guide for farm web presence and e-commerce. So that link is in the chat. We'll also follow up with an email. Friends of the Farm will follow up with an email with this link, just in case we hear of any new resources that folks here today would like to share with others, or if there are specific questions that I can kind of dig and provide those resources for you. So the first resource on this guide is all about starting and updating your Google Business profile. And that is that free business listing that appears on Google Search and Google Match or Google Maps. So if I search farms near Prescott, Arizona, Whipstone Farm comes up, Mortimer Farms, just a handful of other farms will pop up. If you already have a Google profile, this is your friendly reminder to double check, make sure your links and your information are correct. Add some engaging photos and, reach out to some of your customers to give reviews. We've heard nationally that farms and food hubs get significant clicks, views, and customer interactions with their Google profile pages. So if you don't use any other digital tools at all, and if this is the only one that you're going to do, highly recommend creating a free Google business profile. Did you want to start that poll so we can kind of just get a sense of? So we're going to launch a little poll that kind of lists some of the topics that we'll be discussing today, and we kind of wanted to get a sense. So if you have a food or farm business, let us know in the poll what some digital tools that you are currently using.
So I did just launch that poll, and it's just question one. We have a second question that you can see now, but doesn't make sense to answer now. So just answer question one of that poll, of which of the following digital tools do you currently use for your farm or food business?
Do I need to stop sharing so people can see the results or?
I will be able to end the poll and then show the results. So I see answers coming in. Give people a few more seconds to answer that first question. Hi, Mosette. see. Okay, looks like we have a couple answers. Let me know, Kate, when you'd like me to go ahead and end the
Feel free to
poll.
show just to kind of see
Okay.
what a handful of folks are already kind of familiar with, just so the speakers also get a sense of where people
Okay.
are coming from.
So I think you can see that now.
Yeah, so 3 out of 5 have a website, 2 out of 5 a Google Business profile, a little over half use social media platforms, about half online payment, less are using e-commerce platform, and about half using email marketing, news, Chimp, MailChimp, and Constant Contact. All right. Cool. Well, thank you. I think this was helpful. All right. Before I pass it along to the speakers, I wanted to kind of establish a baseline understanding of CSAs and community supported agriculture. There were some previous questions in previous webinars, people asking what's a CSA, and we were kind of just throwing it around, assuming that everybody was familiar. Community supported agriculture is kind of a direct farm to consumer or retail marketing channel that was first developed by Dr. Booker T. Watley, who is a horticulture and agriculture professor at the Tuskegee University. And his clientele membership model is a farm subscription model where members pay upfront for seasonal products intended to help farmers plan production, anticipate demand, and secure a reliable market. And he kind of designed this for Black farmers who were being systematically excluded from a lot of USDA loans and a lot of USDA services. So this was a way for him and his, farmers to create a model that was going to significantly limit the risk for the farmer and anticipate demand and kind of secure that market throughout the season. Today, this model has been kind of adopted and adapted in a number of ways by US farmers and food hubs. And then technology has significantly transformed how customers sign up for these subscriptions, how they pay for them, and then how, they're managed on the back end for the farmers. It significantly improves logistics. Different types of technology or digital tools kind of offer different levels of support. So I kind of wanted to demonstrate some different examples of how farms are using technology and digital tools for CSAs here in Arizona. So Forestdale Farm, we heard from Rylan in a previous speaker series, kind of highlighting how he kind of operates the production part of the CSA. And he uses Square, which is a really cheap, affordable kind of online payment processing. His CSA is on farm direct, so all of the produce that is moving through that CSA is grown on their farm. And they have a prepay online for the full season of weekly shares. I also used their Square space to purchase some bags of compost yesterday. So super convenient for me to just go online, do that. I don't have to go to the farm, try to hunt down somebody to buy, compost. But again, so they're selling, they'll promote that their CSAs are online, and then customers will go onto their Square site, pay in advance, and get those weekly shares. Whipstone Farm is currently using Barn to Door for their CSA subscriptions, as well as some wholesale sales. And again, this is on farm direct, so it's all Whipstone's products. And they have set it up where customers have 2 choices. For a discount, they can prepay online for a full season of weekly shares, or auto pay for each share with option to hold. So the technology allows for these subscriptions to be auto renew and pay as you go. So let's say I'm going on vacation, I can log into my customer profile and hold it for that week, so that I'm not paying for something I'm not going to be able to pick up. Local Food Marketplace is another really popular e-commerce platform that really takes CSA subscriptions and a lot of other digital technology, sales technology to the next level. And Rosebird Farms is with us today, and they're going to be talking about their multi-farm CSA. And Local Food Marketplace, like many other e-commerce providers, allows for that auto pay subscription service and hold. But then they take it to another level and offer the customer the ability to customize each week's shares. So we'll see a little bit of that. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into our speakers. So first, we're going to hear from Shanti. Shanti Rod and their family of Whipstone Farm have been growing fresh seasonal produce and flowers in Paulden, Arizona since 1995. Starting with a surplus from their home garden, they've expanded to 15 acres, producing over 100 varieties year-round. Their produce reaches CSA members, farmers markets, natural food stores, restaurants, and florists across Arizona. Whipstone Farm uses many different direct-to-consumer marketing and sales strategies, along with a variety of different e-commerce platforms to sell CSA subscriptions and wholesale. Whipstone is deeply committed to sustainable practice, and with more than 20 years of experience, they continue learning how to farm better in Arizona's challenging climate while connecting their community to healthy, local grown food. And I'm going to pull up Shanti's website and Instagram. And Shanti, feel free to let me know, direct me.
I thought you were directing me, so I know what to put on.
Now, this is an older website. Shanti informed me that she's getting ready to launch a new website. And Shanti, you would say you're not super technically savvy, is that correct?
Yeah, I kind of put myself in the middle, like I can do some stuff, but I'm not, yeah, exactly. Like I'm not gonna HTML like code my website myself.
What website providers have you liked the best and why?
Well, so what else? I don't know. I guess I've used a few. Basically, I think it depends if you're paying someone to make it for you or you're creating it yourself. So for me to create it myself, like I need something that's very like front end user friendly, something that's like, you know, drag and drop kind of, like you can make it look good without a lot of technical skills. So basically we're moving to, we were on WordPress and I think that can work, but our site's like over 10 years old. And the way that it was built is really choppy, and then it requires a lot of plugins to get it to do what you want it to do. So I had paid someone originally to do that website, but now every time I want to make anything more than like text changes or something, I have to like pay that the company that's hosting it now to do that for me. And so that's frustrating. So we're going to Squarespace, which is different than Square, FYI, which is probably on the pricier end of website hosting, but it's like basically they have so many like pre-made templates, and now like AI will just, you put in some stuff, it'll make it for you. So that's what we're switching to. It's not live yet, so you can't see it, but basically I just want it to be something I can manage myself and looks good. So, and because we do a lot, which you'll hear, a lot of our very few sales happen on our website. So I don't need it to be really robust in the like shopping cart or like functionality of how things happen there. It's really like people can go there, see who we are, like visually with photos and whatever, and we can, explain about who we are, but I don't need it to really do that much.
What are some aspects of your current website that you are going to take over to your new website?
I mean, a lot of it, pretty much. I'm going to just try to like update the text a little bit, but I'm pretty much carrying everything over. So like, like a visually appealing landing page. I guess I'm taking less over. Like I'm trying to make it less pages, less stuff. I don't think it really needs to be very robust. Like I want it to like accurately represent who we are. So kind of like our farming philosophy and practices, because that's a question I get a lot. We're not certified organic, but that's a common question. So something like that where it really outlines like what are our farming practices and what do we offer. So basically, where can people find us? So it's going to say like, where are we at a farmer's market? What is our CSA and how can you sign up? Like, how could you buy from us wholesale? Other than that, like some photos, a contact page. I guess I'm gonna do like which will be new is like a press page. So like, every newspaper article or podcast I've ever been on, we could just like throw it there so people can, you know, just they can, I don't know, like internet stalk you or whatever.
Really get to know who you are and what makes you tick.
Sure.
What I really liked about your website is the CSA Right for Me feature. Because I think that that's kind of tricky for folks. Can you tell us why you thought it was important to kind of communicate and put, a quiz and frequently asked questions on CSAs on your website?
Sure. Sorry, there's like landline phone calls that I can't mute. Uh, so I actually got that idea from a podcast I listened to a long time ago with a woman named Corinna Bench. She's actually she does all kinds of like farmer training. She's very much like a marketer. By they have a family farm, but she's a real like um, went to like traditional marketing school and then like brought a lot of those ideas over to their own CSA farm and then has sort of translated that into like marketing for farmers. So she has a whole like university online and whatnot. And she puts out a newsletter. And so she, I think, had put out that quiz. And so I just adapted it for our own use. Like I changed the wording to make it applicable. But basically, what we found over the years is CSA isn't right for everybody. So we oftentimes are trying to talk people out of signing up for the CSA because we don't want them to sign up and be unhappy. Like, well, I want to eat healthier. Well, are you sure you want to get like 10 items in a box every week with like they're just going to keep coming whether you eat it or not and you've like paid for the whole year. So the kind of the is CSA right for me quiz was something that people who were new to the idea but are coming to maybe they're interested in signing up. You can kind of I guess is a little more of an interactive way to describe the CSA to them and they can kind of self-select if it is good for them. So that's where that came out of. And I will say one other thing we're doing on the website is which I've tried in the past and failed at is like having a blog, which I know is quite maybe passe, but basically, again, this is my non-technical self saying that like you need good like to have for your website to pop up high in the ratings, you need like certain types of content, right? And so one thing that um, makes you look good is like continually like having new postings on your website. And so a blog is something you can just sort of keep adding to, and it kind of, you know, increases your ability to like pop up first. If you were like farms near Prescott, like would we be first? I don't know because I don't look at my Google ratings and stuff. But so that's the other thing we're going to have. And so that is CSA right for me, or other kind of like how to keep your cut flowers fresh are just like info pieces that I could like make a blog post out of that can like mean that we have like continually new content on there.
Anything else about websites and web pages before I showcase your amazing Instagram?
Um, no, the only thing I would say is it can be a little bit intimidating when you don't feel like you know what you're doing. So like anything's better than nothing. Like the cheapest, simplest landing page with your like a photo. I mean, it's really good to show your face. I know that's kind of hard sometimes, but like a photo of you or your family or your farm and like how to contact us. Like at least it's a website that you can build on later and people are going to hopefully find you when they're like searching for you online. Done is
Any,
better than good
absolutely.
or perfect.
Any other panelists want to chime in with web page related tips and tricks real quick? We can also wait till later. I'm going to switch over to the Instagram. So this was a Valentine's Day Instagram. And they look really professional. They're really beautiful, but a lot of times it's just little video shorts kind of edited together to create really engaging visuals, and it helps that you have such beautiful flowers.
Are other people seeing your screen share? Because I'm not. You are? Okay. When I think I need to change my view. Hold on.
Yeah, let me know if anybody else is not seeing.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
seeing it's
look, I'm eating a
beautiful.
carrot. Okay, I see it.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Um, okay. What do you want me to talk about?
I
Just Instagram or like social media in general?
it looks super professional, but you always say that you're like, I'm not super savvy. I'm not, I don't have a degree in marketing. So just kind of the kind of fallback videos, pictures, images that you use, or like messaging that you like to use that seems to get a lot of interaction by customers. I'll also show some others.
Yeah. So it does really help to have a visually appealing product. I would say flowers maybe get a lot more traction than vegetables, just in terms of posts. Not always, like that pink radicchio. Well, maybe yeah, we scroll down a little bit. Maybe you can see the number of likes if you hover over it. No, maybe not from your end. Okay, so oh yeah, you can. Will you go down to that pink radicchio photo?
There it go.
Yeah, down one more. Too far. That's okay.
Right here?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, okay. Well, I guess it was more than just that. But so I don't know. I'd say I don't have any training in marketing. I've never taken any kind of classes. So a lot of what I do is just based on, seeing my own engagement and what people respond to. And also I do try to I don't know, pick up tips. Like I don't even really follow anybody, but you get suggested for you. And sometimes it's things about how to do well on social media or whatever. So I saw something recently, for a while, Reels, which is the first one you were showing is a reel, right? So it's kind of like a compilation of photos or videos that you can pretty easily within the app edit. Which if I had to do that in some kind of editing tool that I don't own, I wouldn't do it, right? But it's really easy. So for a while, those were really popular, and I think it's because it sort of mimics TikTok, which I'm not a TikTok person. But now supposedly, this is what I read, just carousel photos where you just have either a photo or video and you can swipe through. There's just multiple ones that are doing better. Why? I don't know. But so sometimes I think about it. I was like, do I want this to be a reel or not? And I just, while I try to limit my own screen time, absorption, it does help to be on there and see what other people are doing. Cause sometimes you're just at a loss for how to create something. It feels really overwhelming, but you see something someone else is doing and it gives you kind of an idea for a template or what have you. Actually the one that you're hovering over right now where there's a little kid there, this was something. It was and I don't really follow the trends very much, but this was a trend. It's kind of like kid pictures of your crew, right? And so this is who's doing this thing that you engage with. People don't know really that much who works on the farm behind the scenes, right? So I only could get about 5 people to send me a photo on my crew, even though I asked. But this was fun, and basically I just did that because I was saw this trend. I was like, oh, I could do that, but basically I just kind of see what gets engagement, and it's a way I'm going to talk about newsletters too, but this is a way that to me a newsletter takes about probably at least 2 hours to create. Granted, you could do much quicker ones, but I put a lot of energy into wording it properly and getting, resize all the photos and blah, blah, blah. And this is a way to do quick things. You're out in the field, you took a cool video, you can post it. So it's just a way to kind of let people know what's going on. So it's obviously marketing, but it is also maybe I'm trying to sell something, but most of the time I'm just trying to share what we're doing. And I think I'm going to get into what's hard about it too, what doesn't work so well about it. But yeah, I think it's certainly a way to communicate with your customers, but I think it's a better way to get people to find you who maybe don't know about you yet or don't know much about you, and sort of get them sort of intrigued by what you're doing.
So about how many hours on average a week would you say you spend just on the social media part?
Um, Not that much time. I mean, if I mean like posting or creating content or maybe like replying to comments, some weeks 0, some weeks maybe on a like really heavy week, like 2 to 3 hours. That's not including like getting lost and scrolling, and you know what I mean? So my new just because like my own desire to sort of spend less time on screens is that I just delete the app from my phone. And then I put it back on when I want to post something. And so it actually is like a lot less time. And then I'll just go look on my desktop. Like if I need to reply to messages or something, I might check it once a day or every few days. And that's just a personal need to like not be sucked in and or like worry about how well other people are doing. But honestly, I think you could do something great with an hour a week or a few hours a week if you were kind of more active.
And again, a lot of the content is just still photos made into kind of a carousel or viewers can click through. And then video is just lots of simple panning. And to kind of give a little bit of movement, you can pan over fields, pan over farmers markets, pan over. You're holding a lot of products and clicking through those. So very simple, just camera tricks. And then you said you're using just the editing software that's built into Instagram, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I will switch over to e-newsletters then. And you were saying that e-newsletters are really, really important for you. Can you talk a little bit more about why email marketing and newsletters are so valuable?
Sure. So I started writing a newsletter like probably before I was on any social media. Like I've done it for a long time. So it's somewhere that I felt pretty comfortable. And I think I just started with a plain text email and like, you know, without even any, I can't remember the term, but you know, like something that is managing your email list, right? Where people kind of have the option to subscribe or unsubscribe without asking you to do so. And then we kind of, you know, morphed along with the times, right? So, but of course, you can write really short emails, but I tend to be very wordy and long, like sometimes just way too long. And I put in a lot of photos. But having ICMS, I don't even know what it stands for. Okay. So like we use MailChimp, there's Constant Contact and lots of different ones, apparently better ones now than what I'm even using, but then I'd have to switch and that's like a lot of brain power for me. So the biggest thing and while I say I've like never gone to school for any marketing, I do like, you know, I listen to some like podcasts and read stuff about it. And pretty much everyone will tell you that having a newsletter list is the place that you want to be. You can do all the other stuff, but you want to at least try to drive people to sign up for your newsletter list, because then you know who they are. They self-selected and said, I trust you enough to give you my email address. And then you have control over the content. Granted, they still got to open it, right? And so that's your job, to send them useful enough content that they will want to open it. But any kind of social media, you do not own the algorithm and you have no control. I can make a really great post that I'm sure will get traction, and it will be like a total flop, and there'll be like 0 comments and very few likes. And I can tell it's like the algorithm at work, like not showing it to people. And again, this is my like lay view of it, but whenever I'm trying to sell something through a social media post, I feel like it knows that, and it like drives the engagement down when it's more just sharing stuff. So I don't know if they're like, well, we'd really like you to have like a paid post if you want to try to sell something. So the point is like, you don't control it. And so once you have people's email addresses, you actually control at least whether it's going to like make it to their, hopefully their inbox, but maybe just their promotion folder. And then from what I hear, the conversion rate. So say I am trying to sell something like it's CSA sign up time and I'm trying to sell CSA shares, like the conversion rate of like making an offering in an email versus making an offering on social media is like, I don't remember the number, way higher, like tenfold or something. So something good to know, right? Like it's totally fine to put it on social media, but if you like really want to get at probably who your likely buyers are, the people who've already sort of, you know, said that they want to follow your content, like those are probably more likely your customers who will actually buy. And it's much easier to put in links and track the links, like where did they, like, you know, so like what we're using for CSA shares, which is Barn to Door, if somebody clicks over there from our newsletter, like so we use MailChimp. Our MailChimp and Barn to Door accounts are connected. Any time someone buys something in Barn to Door, we'll automatically put them on our newsletter list. And likewise, it'll tell me like from this individual email, how much money did I make? Like how many people jumped over to my shop and bought something? So like tracking that kind of data is super helpful. I'm a big fan of newsletters. And I would say, you know, we also have a lot of, in the Prescott area, it's very much like a big retirement community. We have a lot of customers and shoppers who are of an older generation. And I can just tell, like, they really respond to an email newsletter and they don't really engage on social media that much. So it's, I think it all depends on your demographic. I mean, maybe I could be like thriving in my TikTok shop, but I'm not. So
I've learned so much from just the three examples that you sent me. So they're kind of different theme to kind of show the different uses of, let me scroll back up. So this one is kind of Happy New Year, the slowest time of the year. There might not be markets in our region in that, you know, you might be not seeing and selling to customers, but you're still there and you're still working. So this was just kind of a little newsletter to say, hey, we're still here and here's what we've been up to in the off season. The first one was the kind of the bounty of the season. Just when everything starts to kind of come online to really push that through farmers markets. And then another kind of off-season one, but I liked this one because you really talk about a lot about like the details of like growing food and seeds and zinnias. You know, just kind of talking about just a lot of really amazing information. And just again, of course, beautiful pictures. I want to go down to this. This was the zinnia seed, the cleaning of the zinnia seed pictures. I just wanted to share that.
Especially with something like this, that when we're growing these like contract seeds, that's not something that our customers know anything about. You know, it's like between us and like the breeder, and you know, it's happening like all behind the scenes. So people would pretty much just know nothing about this, right? Because it's not something that we're like offering to the public or anything. So it's kind of fun to share that. I will say, like, I do not write as many words as I write. Like 17 paragraphs is like way too many. No one wants to read that. But I don't know, I'm a very wordy person. So, but I will, oh shoot, what was I going to say? I had a thought before. Anyway, yeah, you don't have to write that much. You could write like 2 paragraphs. That would be totally fine. Definitely put a few pictures in there. But yeah, I think it's just a way to connect with people. And I try to be not very, like, obviously I will announce that CSA shares are for sale in an email or something like that. But I try to make them mostly unsalesy. Like they're very much like, I'm here to share information about who we are, like what are we planting right now? Because a lot of gardeners also shop at the farmers market. They're our customers. They're kind of like, well, what are you doing right now? Because I'll do that too. So like what are we doing right now? What are we thinking about? Like, what are we about to do? Like getting prepped for? You know, what inevitably, I always talk about the weather. It's like kind of embarrassing, but farmers are very like, we are tied to the weather, like, um, and I think sometimes people, I don't even know if they realize that, they're like working in their office. They didn't know that. I know you said, Braden, it was like 105 down there, but it was like 95 here, which is ridiculously hot for March and frustrating, and like messes all kinds of things up. So you have to tell people, like people are like, oh, so are you gonna like just plant everything early? Well, no, because it could still get really cold. Like we can't chance it like that, but we are trying to like triage everything that's out there and like, compensate for the heat that like uh phenologically, I think that's the right word, they're not ready for. Like it's not the right time to be 95 degrees. So like all the brassicas are like, cool, I'll bolt, and you're like, no. So just like explaining what the weather does, or when like there's a big rain in Prescott, and then every single person at the market's like, did you get rain out there? Like they all want to know like what our precipitation was. Or like if we got hail, and then they're like, oh, well, is everything okay? I'm like, no, it's not okay after the hail. Like that's not how it works, So a lot of explaining weather and how it affects us. And I don't know, it feels very basic, but that's what they like. But really like tempering your like what you're trying to sell with like a lot of, I don't know, like interesting or useful knowledge that just sort of makes people trust you as like, oh, I want to read what you have to say. And occasionally if you're trying to sell something, hopefully they buy it. So
You mentioned highlighting what's hard.
yeah, I'm really good at that. I try not to be a whiner, but
Do tell.
I think that farming is super hard. And it's like, I mean, maybe this is just my perspective, like especially hard in Arizona. There's so many, factors that make it like ultra challenging. And yeah, so just letting people know why things are late to the market, or, like crops are coming in later than expected, or there's damage, or, flea beetle holes or whatever. Like, just it's, I guess when you're doing your thing, you kind of think people understand it like you do, but they don't. Like people are so disconnected from how food grows. And so just cluing them in to like why things are the way they are. And I have noticed if I get a little too like I can't push on the hardship too much. I can like give them like so much of a window into it, but if I overdo it, then okay, just to preface, I'm like not really a hugger. Like I don't really want to hug people that I don't know that well. Just FYI if you guys like run into me. But so then like if I say something so horrible happened and I go on and show the really like horrible photos of the hail damage, then everyone's like coming up and hugging me at the market and like, over sympathy. And I'm like, no, it's cool. I just wanted you to know, but like, so there is like a degree of what people can take, like I once put a photo in an email of okay, so we have a lot of gophers. We trap them in traps. And when you set a gopher trap, you usually like dig out the hole and the tunnel will be running in two directions. You put a trap in both sides. And if you're lucky, you catch one, right? It's usually the same gopher. But I caught two and I put that photo in the email and some people did not like that. Like that was a little too graphic for them. So you should be authentic and do what you do. But I've just learned what goes and what doesn't go. And I temper it like this much.
Any questions from participants for Shanti before we move on? We'll also pick up questions at the end too, but I thought I'd offer that opportunity. Braden and Erica, if you're like watching the chat.
I think Cindy's raising her hand. Oh no, she's clapping.
Or anybody yeah, it's hard for me to see everything with the screen share going.
We're keeping an eye on the chat.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Again, we'll keep talking about this, but I want to give everybody an opportunity to showcase. So I'm going to switch gears over to Andrea. Nope, I didn't want to go that way. I want to go this way. All right. So next we have Rosebird Farms and Andrea McAdow, who is the farmer of Rosebird Farms, an Arizona flower and specialty crop farm, and since 2024, the owner of Flagstaff CSA and local market. She has championed local food in northern and central Arizona by building strong, dependable connections between small farms, ranches, and the chefs, caterers, and households who rely on fresh regional ingredients. Through thoughtful aggregation, distribution, and direct-to-consumer models, Andrea has helped make locally grown products more accessible and consistent for the culinary professionals who value them most. At Rosebird Farms, Andrea also cultivates seasonal cut flowers, bringing the beauty and diversity of the region directly to florists, caterers, and community events. This blend of food and floral production allows her team to showcase the full expression of Arizona agriculture. Andrea's vision is a food system capable of meeting modern demand without losing sight of the land, farmers, or craftsmanship behind every ingredient. Her work is rooted in transparency, trust, and long-term resilience, ensuring that local growers can continue their stewardship while chefs and consumers enjoy high-quality products they can feel good about. And Andrea, let me know. I have a video of the local food marketplace. CSA, let me know when you want me to show that, if you wanted to kind of give any background information prior to that.
Perfect. Yeah, you can start showing that. Yeah, so I was going to talk a little bit about our online platform, Local Food Marketplace, and how you can use different e-commerce platforms. We specifically run a online CSA in conjunction with a retail shopping experience online. And so we serve about 250 orders a week, ranging from Lake Havasu in northwestern Arizona over to Flagstaff. And so the way we do that, we open a ordering window each week, and people can go in and they can either shop a la carte or they can go sign up for a CSA on a rolling basis. So that we have a few things that makes our CSA a little bit different. That's one thing. We have a perpetual CSA model because we work with so many different farmers. So people are able to sign up anytime during the year, and they can cancel or hold anytime. We also make it fully customizable, so that people can go and switch out what they are getting in their boxes each week. It is limited. They don't get the full variety that is available on the entire online shop, but it allows us to give people some flexibility, meet them where they're at. So it's a little bit more like what they are used to getting in a normal online grocery store. And it makes it convenient for us too, where we can control our orders and control how much we have available. So it's a really nice model there. Yeah, Kate, if you want to show a little bit about what the interface looks like.
Yeah, sure. So I just kind of showed, so we get an email prompt. We get an email prompt that the order window is opened, and then from that email, it will click straight to our profile and sign on. So this is kind of what folks are seeing every time that they sign on. Because it's an auto renew, it's already confirmed.
Seeing your Canva.
Oh, you're seeing my Canva. I'm sorry. Let
Yeah.
me. I keep like showing this video, and I'm like, let's see. How do I? Let's see. Let's do this guy. All right, this is much better. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't crazy. I was like, let's
Nope.
go here.
Okay. Here's the landing page after we get the email prompt that the order window is open in advance. And then you get out of the way, I'll hit play. There we go.
Yeah, so LFM allows us to build, essentially has a box builder function that allows us to put in the base box. And we have two different sizes too. So we have a large and a mini. So they can include different items, which is nice because we have a different spread of customers. So we can, if I know I have enough to serve both size boxes, I'll put them in both. But if I only have a little bit of something, I can just put it in one size. So they get this email that has all their products, and then they're able to make swaps from here. And then they can also go, so yeah, this is what the little substitution page looks like.
And then that previous screen was continue shopping.
Yep, and they can go into this page and they can add. So we can see some Whipstones products on here. We usually incorporate 3 to 4 different farms in each of our farm boxes each week, but we work with at least a dozen in our online shop. And depending on how often what point of the season we're in, we work up to usually 2 dozen producers in our online store. So it makes it super convenient to manage everyone here in one location, just on the back end, and it makes it very convenient for people to shop from a bunch of different producers all at once. Trying to think anything else so it is similar in some ways where people to a traditional CSA where they get a pre-built box, but there's a lot more customization, things that make it a little bit more what people are used to. So that's the big plus in this model. And we also are able to accept SNAP online. We can't necessarily do it for subscription boxes, but we are authorized to accept SNAP online, and they can also earn Double Up Food Bucks and use that to buy free produce online too. So it makes it very accessible. We do home delivery, so some people who maybe can't make it out of their house, we are able to take it right to them. Trying to think anything else on the CSA, Kate?
No, I just kind of wanted to show, I don't have the feature when I can just kind of show. Get out of the way. It doesn't want to, I can't hit the. I had to film this because after the window closes, it doesn't look the same.
Oh.
So I filmed it prior to the, but I just kind of wanted to show some features customers can choose for pickup or for home delivery. And the sign up process is really detailed. It kind of cues the customer to like choose where their pickups are, because you guys are delivering all over Mojave County, as well as, here in Flagstaff. And then I also don't have the double up feature on here. We're going to film that soon. But I kind of wanted to show at the end. So it will show kind of what is SNAP eligible total, and then what the double up eligible total is. And then when a SNAP customer checks out, they'll get a nice prompt that says you have X amount of dollars in double up that's eligible for your cart. Do you want to apply that to your cart? So a really cool feature to integrate all of those things.
Yeah, and I'll say LFM is definitely on the higher end, the higher cost. There are a lot of features that you definitely don't need to start out with, though. So like maybe a lower tier software is more appropriate. But as you scale up, there's a lot of great features that make things really convenient. But it is definitely on the pricier side of things.
Let me go back and then. Also talking about email marketing and e-newsletters.
Yeah, so we just a little bit more on the technical side of the emails. Definitely 100% go with what Shanti said. And like if you have anything, like I'd say get your your site set up and make sure you have a mailing list, because this is really where you build those relationships, and that's what Shanti talked about too. You don't necessarily need to be selling in every email. You want to build that relationship with people, but then you can also use some features on things like MailChimp to then sell. And you can also set up some really awesome automations. Great thing about things like MailChimp is you get to see who's opening your emails. Things like usually 30 to 40% open rate is really typical. Whereas if you're making a post on Instagram, you're lucky if like 5% of your followers see it. That's not how Instagram and social media is set up anymore. And you are cultivating the people who really want to be there. So if you go to the next one, This is something I use a lot on my running in the background of all of my marketing. So I have it's called a Lightbox that pops up on my website. And then I also have links in all my social media. You can use things like Linktree is super convenient where you can send them to an email sign up. And then having anywhere you are, anywhere you're marketing yourself, I would suggest having a QR code if you have different flyers, putting a link on that to your newsletter, because then you can have them sign up for your newsletter, but also trigger something called a customer journey. So if you're thinking of your marketing like a funnel, at the top of the funnel, you're just trying to collect as many people into your funnel that are somewhat interested. And as you build that relationship, they will filter down. Um, closer to the mouth of the funnel is where you get people converting to actual customers. And then at the very bottom of the funnel is where you have people that are then promoting you in turn. So email can do a bunch of those things all at once. So one way we help people move down in the funnel is a customer journey. So when they sign up for an email, they will get it'll automatically trigger emails every couple of days. You don't want to overload them like every single day, so we spread them out a little bit. But it just tells them who we are, um, you know, talks a little bit about our story, tells them how we grow things, and then also soft sells a little bit. And then I like to also give an offer, so a promo code to trigger them into purchasing for the first time to get them to start to try things. So really good for that. You can also set this up if you have like a CSA you are trying to promote. So I'll do about once a year, we'll do a hard sell promotion for about 2 weeks. And I tell people, I warn them ahead of time, like, you're going to get a lot more emails than normal from us, expect it. But we don't do this often, and we just want to tell you a little bit about what we're selling right now. So you can set those up from that. But yeah, you can set up different um, journeys based on who your customers are. If they say they're a wholesale customer versus a farmer's market customer, you can also trigger them to be tagged in certain ways so that you can then tailor your emails to those people too. So there's a lot of great features in there that allow you to target in on who your customer is, and then better tailor your emails and build that relationship in the way that makes most sense.
And Andrea, you mentioned that it's integrated with the Google Business Profile too.
Yeah. Well, um, I don't know about MailChimp. I'm trying to
Okay.
think about what that would have been. Um,
You'd mentioned getting customers to do reviews.
oh, yes. So that is one thing too. So MailChimp integrates with LFM. So I will also send out trigger an email after someone makes a purchase, or if they've gotten so many purchases from us that it will ask them to leave us a review. So you can kind of trigger it so you know they're people that enjoy your product and have been happy with you. And so then you can send them a link to give you a review, and that's a great way to continue to get reviews. And also people psychologically, once they publicly put it out there that they, like your product, then they seem to be more happy with it because they want to like continue psychologically proving it to themselves. So it's a fun little game.
Love that. Anything else you wanted to highlight real quick before I?
Let me check my notes. Um, yeah, I would just say consistency. I would pick just the time. It doesn't have to be every week. At least once a month, just connecting with people, just letting them know you're still there. Like Shanti said, even if you're not selling anything at that time, just let them know what's going on. And that's been really great. And then also, even if you're not hard selling, just putting links to your sales page or where you're going to be. That's good way to just allow people to click if they're interested, and then you don't have to feel like you're pressuring people because sometimes marketing can feel funny.
Thank you. Yeah, hearing the themes that, farmers aren't necessarily, trained marketers and it can be overwhelming, but there's a couple just very simple things that we're showing today that folks can try. All right. Any questions for Andrea before we pass it on to Cindy of Sun? And again, we'll open it back up at the end for questions. All right. Okay, I'm going to introduce Cindy. Dave could not be with us today, but hopefully we'll get to see him on a future. It's always a joy to have. So Sun Produce was established in 2017, and it was established as a growing food hub based in Phoenix, Arizona, working with more than 40 small acreage farms and distributors and more than 60 wholesale, retail, and household customers to increase access to fresh, locally produced foods while expanding capacity for public awareness of and viability of Arizona's small acreage producers. With Food Hub partners Pivot Produce in Tucson and Rosebird Farms in Kingman, the co-op serves 8 of Arizona's 15 counties. In 2025, Sun created just over $1.3 million in local sales for food producers in the state. Today, we have with us Cindy Gentry, who has served as the president and manager for Sun Produce Cooperative since 2017 to establish self-sufficiency for the Sun Produce Co-op, to create a viable alternative distribution system for Arizona's smaller scale producers. This work overlapped with her position as Food Systems Coordinator for the Maricopa County Department of Public Health from 2014 to 2020. Ms. Gentry brings almost 40 years experience with nonprofit hunger prevention and healthy food systems development organizations. She has worked statewide to nurture local food production, distribution, and access capacities, and to support local farmers markets, including spearheading the work to establish the Phoenix Public Market. Activities and achievements include developing the resources to establish the Arizona Farmers Market Nutrition Program and the SNAP at the Market project, which allows low-income children, adults, and seniors to better access nutrition by shopping for fresh fruits and vegetables at local farmers markets and bringing new income to Arizona producers. And I think Cindy's going to share her screen, so I'm going to stop sharing mine.
Thank you, Kate. I realized now I should have just sent everything over to you, but I'm going to do this thing. And I am just learning a lot and honored to be here with all of you who I get to work with and some new people as well. You've talked a lot about the co-op. We're not a farm, we're a group of farms and community members working to increase access to healthy local food and have the opportunity to bring those dollars back into the community to make it healthy and keep farms viable. Oops. So I might have to move all your heads to read all that. We operate as a regional food hub with shared storage, cold storage, shared logistics. Our goal is to be able to pick up food from the farms so that farmers can invest less in staff and trucks and stay on the farms doing what they do best, which is farm. We have a producer-driven model. I like to think that our farms and our producers are our first customer, and everything that we do after that works to kind of bring everyone together. I think this is kind of the most important part of the presentation as we get into how we use technology. And I am not the tech person. I am learning because I have to, but I'll talk more about that. So we're not just a marketplace, we're a shared infrastructure. And we worked with Excel spreadsheets in the beginning, and we worked with phone calls, and we worked with text, and we did all the things, but we have now graduated into a little bit more sophisticated use of software and online platform. And Local Food Marketplace is the platform that we have settled on because some of our partners use it. It makes amazing reports. It gives an opportunity. I wanted to find this screen real quickly that shows how it can meet your producers. We have a list of like, I'll just pretend and I'll just go up here to celebrate Whipstone, and oh, there's their picture again. But it says it tells their story, and sometimes this is taken off their website. Sometimes they go inside and make it better, but then it also shows what products they're offering through the co-op every week. And the pictures are amazing. Often I can usually tell when it's Whipstone because there's a picture of her hand or a boot or a cat, somebody walking through where the produce is. We have a chance for recipes that use the local produce and some additional harvest calendar, nutrition charts, food safety, things that we could do better on. We have a separate website and are working right now to integrate both of them. Our separate websites on producecoop.org was set up just as both Shanti and Andrea have mentioned, to give us a place if somebody went searching for us. We're a real thing because we have a website. And we're working right now to update our text, because it turns out even font goes out of style every 10 years, and make it more relevant to what we're doing now. In the beginning, in the beginning, every farmer every single week would tell us what they have available. I would put it in how much they have, how it's packed, what they want to get paid for it. And then I would put it in a spreadsheet, and I would color the spreadsheet so that you could see if it was certified organic or organically produced or hydroponic or whatever it is. And we did that for 5.5 years, and it was a complete labor of love. But it is amazing that now our farms can go in and put their own product in, describe it the way they want to, set their own pictures. We don't set any prices for the farms. They set what are the producers. They say what they want to get. And then the software magically marks it up. And if, for instance, we sell bread for a couple of bakeries, we don't want to undersell them. So it gives us a chance to pay them at the cost they want to be paid, but also make sure that the consumer doesn't only, amazing if this would happen, but just run over to Sun Produce and buy all the bread because we're selling it less than they could get it at wherever, the farmer's market or something. So we have ways to make the prices stable. We have requests from farmers. What did I sell last year? Can you tell me my top selling items? Can you tell me how much we sold of this? And a farm can go in and get a report on all of that, and then it can help with planting and production for next year for our specific market. And yes, we have we have a farm bag program. It's a multi-farm program. We use MailChimp. We have, I think, 9 sites right now. And so we have, since September, started ordering and curating the bags for every one of those sites. But customers are able to choose add-ons like eggs and bread and honey and goat cheese. And I think talk with Andrea and Shanti, but we'll be offering flowers in a subscription soon. And we are also looking to be able to add on produce so that you can get a bag for $25, but your family's larger than that and you want more kale or you want more something that there's a lot of. So we send out probably a notice that says, oh, time to make any changes if you want to put your bag on hold. And then this is what's in the bag, time to add on. And then because I'm not that good at it, I passively or actively wait for people to send me pictures and I post them on Facebook or Instagram. But I know that we could do better on that, but it's fun to just kind of see what's going on out there and ask people to send us what they're doing. And so it feels like this is a way of having farmers put what they sell together in a one-stop shopping kind of venue to be able to get it out to more places. And that is the point. We are not trying to reinvent the food system, we're trying to strengthen it. And we know that there's a huge gap between the capacity of farmers and producers, value-added producers, to make food and people who want it. And we are focusing now on what it will take to move more food to more places. And having this technology, it probably saves me, since we started using this particular platform about 2.5 years ago, and I would say it saves about 10% off my time every week and way less, fingers crossed, way less mistakes on what we're offering. Because if you forget to take something off and somebody orders it, so there's that. There's some rainbow carrots from Whipstone. And so what we offer, some of this is aspirational. We're hoping to target some new customers and ask them to give us a few products that they'd want us as a group. And that could mean between what Rosebird's farmers, what Pivot's farmers, and ours can supply, so that there's more of a year-round, because we're in different growing zones, and work on organizing our farmers to produce that. And we're not, we do events and we have people come, but I really think that the relationships that we build and the people that we're working with are what make all of this work. And so the opportunity to figure out how to better tell our story, reach more people, and get the word out about what it takes to grow this food and how we can get it to more people that want it is our goal. And using technology, I have some, there's some new people coming on our staff that are much more tuned into using. I don't know if we tried TikTok once. Not sure, but never say never. And so the main things that they are using are Instagram and MailChimp, and hopefully this new website will be launched pretty soon. Dave is one of the founders of the co-op, and he, like Kate said, will be back with us in a few weeks when he's rested up from a medical procedure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, I wish we could like dive into all the different e-commerce platforms, and we just don't have
Right.
time. But I will say that CSA Innovation put together a really nice kind of side by side of all the different e-commerce platforms and some of the prices. It was done a few years ago, so some of that price information might be a little out of date. That the reality with technology is that it changes so fast. And then I learned that there were some questions from participants on language, and kind of challenges with social marketing and e-commerce being in languages that are accessible for all different customers. And so I will add to my quick links some e-commerce providers and different sites that offer language. Local Food Marketplace, for example, will translate for lots of different languages on the customer side, but I'm going to ask them on the producer side. So let's say if we have some refugee farmers who want to sell into Sun Produce, do they have access to that? And so I'll ask them about that. Again, more cost and time and effort involved with different languages. And Activate Food Arizona is looking into kind of developing some prototypes for different funding mechanisms for supporting infrastructure like technology. So those added costs related to language translation, and then just the added technology costs. So hopefully we'll be sharing that in a couple of months. Any other questions for our panelists? Cindy and Andrea, are you guys accepting more producers to sell through your networks? I see Cindy nodding.
Yeah,
Yes, go
go
ahead.
ahead, Cindy.
We are. We're always open to doing that. And I guess, Andrea, I'll just interrupt you one more time and just say that if you're coming from Northern Arizona, you'd probably want to talk to Andrea. If you're coming from Southern Arizona, you probably want to talk to Pivot. And if you're coming from Central, but we can make those referrals. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I wanted to create a map of how everybody's connected, and I didn't think we had the time. But again, Andrea's, Mojave County, that eastern kind of portion, I'm sorry, western portion of the state, and to Flagstaff CSA, Sun Produce, kind of Maricopa. They oftentimes meet at Whipstone to
Right.
exchange goods. And so we're really working on that north-south pipeline. I'm so fortunate here in Flagstaff. I get, the bounty of the statewide local grown produce delivered to my door. And it's a pretty amazing thing. So I'm very grateful for these people and all the hard work that you do in building that trust and transparency with your producers, and all the logistical work to get us and others some really fabulous food. So thank you.
Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to Kate for moderating the session today. We're getting great feedback in the chat already about the value added and in that survey as well. So it's really an honor to have you, and really a pleasure to have all of our participants and attendees here today to make it what it is.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Have
Hope
a
you all have a
wonderful
great
week.
day.